everyone, welcome back. I am doing a video that was highly requested, and it is a shopping list of sorts for first year teachers. And I sat down and I gave this a lot of thought that, I realized that as a first year teacher, you are broke. You really are. The poorest you'll ever be is either a college student or a first year teacher. Thank goodness the salaries do start to go up, quite a bit as you go through the years, but that first year or two, you're at the bottom of the pay scale, so funds are limited. So I tried to keep that in mind as I was compiling this list of what I think are must-haves for first year teachers. And the first thing that I think all first year teachers need are a couple of developmental books for themselves. One I'm going to recommend, I devoured this book. This is called The Book Whisperer by Donalyn Miller, Awakening the Inner Reader in Every Child. And she has a great reading philosophy. And to put it in a nutshell, if you want a child to become a lover of reading, put an interesting book in their hands and leave them alone. It's actually a very simple philosophy, and yet it's one that many teachers just cannot do. And a lot of times the children in our classes who are the struggling readers, they get the least amount of time for independent reading because we're so busy trying to shove strategy lessons and skills lessons down their throats and intervention lessons that we take away their time to just read. So if you really want to help develop your own personal philosophy for reading, I highly suggest getting this book, and I will link anything I can link in the description box below. I will if there's something to link. So this would be my first recommendation for a first year teacher. My next two recommendations, I don't have my books here because my books are in my classroom because I basically have these books memorized, and that would be the Daily 5 Reading Program, 2nd edition, and the Cafe Menu. There's just one edition of the Cafe Menu. These books, even if you don't want to teach Daily 5, the books will still help you to create a reading program in your own classroom. And again, these books, much like the Book Whisperer, will help you develop, I have something tickling me on my face, will help you to develop your own reading philosophy in your classroom. It has a lot of brain-based research in there that basically instructs you that you can only teach, direct teaching, for this amount of time before you lose their attentions and they begin to tune you out. And there's just a lot of strategies in there. Let's say you don't want to do choice. You just want to do reading and the whole class is doing reading. You want to do writing and the whole class is doing writing. You want to do your ABC work or your spelling work and the whole class is doing it at the same time. Fine. But there are strategies in the Daily 5 that will help you to be a better teacher when you are teaching these subjects in their isolation. I'll be honest, when I did the Daily 5, I don't do choice for every round. I only do choice for one round. The other two, I needed a calmer environment where I felt a little more in control while still relinquishing control to the students, if that makes any sense. But basically, I'm happy and the kids are happy. It all worked. So Daily 5 and the Cafe Menu will definitely help you to create your reading programs and your writing programs, even if you don't follow the Daily 5 model. There's a lot of information in there for a new teacher. The next two books I'm going to recommend for first year teachers. This one is grades 3 through 5 because I teach 4th grade, and I'm fairly certain there would also be like a K1-2 book version of this as well. This is called Common Core Math in Action, Making the Standards Manageable, Meaningful, and Fun. And I actually plan on doing very soon an entire video devoted to math and how I'm going to use this one, and the book Number Talks to completely adapt my everyday math program to better fit the needs of my students in my classroom. For me, everyday math, it's letting my students down. It's not working, but it is the series mandated by my district, so I will follow the curriculum set in that book, but I plan on using multiple resources this year to supplement the gaps in that series. Why do I love this book so much? This book teaches lessons the way I was taught to be a teacher, and that is materials, materials, materials. Give the children a wide variety of math tools to use and let them creatively solve problems. And now one of the things I like about this book is because it's grades 3 through 5, a lot of times, our math books assume that our 4th graders come to us having mastered 3rd grade lessons and they are ready to go on 4th grade material. The teachers in the trenches, we know that is so not the case. So this book for me gives me a wide variety of 3rd grade lessons as well as 4th grade lessons to go back and reteach. Adding, subtracting, problem solving, fractions. It covers every domain in the Common Core, and so this way I can go back to a 3rd grade lesson, present that lesson in a meaningful way using concrete objects, and it literally goes step by step. So if you're unfamiliar with how to do a math lesson where you're using multiple strategies, you just got to read this book and it will literally tell you what to do. And it connects literature to the math lessons you're doing. Like this one right here is a lesson for 6th Dinner Sid, which is one of my favorite books. I love 6th Dinner Sid. And it tells you about how to divide the problem, break it up, and making arrays with multiple activities to do to get those concepts in the kids' heads. So the fact that this book gives me, a 4th grade teacher, access to 3rd grade lessons as well as 4th grade lessons makes this an invaluable tool for me. So if I were a 3rd grade teacher, I would probably want the K1-2 edition to get access to the grade level below me, because I really find that if you're going to teach any grade level, you need to know what should have been covered in the previous year. Whether the kids mastered it or not, you need to know what should have been covered, and you kind of need to know what's coming the next year to make sure that you're meeting your own learning targets and prepping those kids for the next year to come. So this is a great resource. Another book I'm going to recommend for teachers to buy for themselves is this one, the Step-by-Step Model Drawing, Solving Word Problems the Singapore Way. This basically takes this book one step further. This book is very concrete. This is how we're going to do it. These are the tools you're going to use to do it. This is how you're going to set your tools up. This is how you're going to divvy up your counters. This is how you're going to walk across the room in multiple steps. This book then takes these concrete theories and concrete problems and shows a child how to turn them into a pictured form of abstract thought. Because again, the whole goal of this is to get them away from the concrete to the abstract. We're going for those higher level skills. But a lot of times when you tell a child to solve a problem and draw their thinking, they don't know what to draw. They want to draw 1,000 tally marks. They want to draw 100 counters. They just don't know how to put their thinking into process. Whereas a book like this, you can teach them. This is how you draw your thinking. This is how you break your numbers into chunks. This is how you turn your problem into step-by-steps. So it's another valuable resource. So these would be the first 5 books I would tell you as a new teacher, you need to read these now during summer vacation before you start that first year teaching. You will be so much more armed with skills and strategies to implement that first week of school. You really, really will. Okay, moving on to the second thing on my shopping list for new teachers, it would be books, books, books. There's no such thing as too many books in your classroom. My classroom probably has, I don't even know, thousands of books in my room, whether they're picture books, chapter books, nonfiction books, fiction books, historical fiction, magical, mystical, you name it. I have thousands of books in my classroom. And I will still have students come to me by like March or April and say, Mrs. Byler, I'm bored with all these. What else have you got? There's no such thing as too many books in your room. So you're a brand new teacher, money's limited, and if you've ever gone book shopping at Barnes and Nobles or Target or Walmart, you know books add up fast. And you need an entire classroom library of these books. So where are they going to come from? My best advice to a new teacher would be, first and foremost, use your Scholastic book orders. Scholastic book orders, especially the September, October, and November monthlies, are a treasure trove for teachers. One, on the very back page that the teachers see, that the students don't see, they have the Build a Classroom Library, 25 books for $25. Get those, really. And I find that they do that for a K1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so what you're going to want to do, like I'm a 4th grade teacher. So last year I just wanted to replenish my library because the books take a beating and not all of them survive the school year. I bought 25 books for $25 at the grade 4-5. Then I purchased 2 libraries, $25 each, for the grades 2-3. And then I even purchased 1 library for my students K1. I really did. I dropped $100, but I was able to basically get 100 books. 25 of the books are hard because they're at grade level or above, and then the other 75 books are easier reads because, let's be honest, the majority of the children coming to our classrooms are not reading at grade level. So this way, by buying 1 K1, 2 3s, and 1 4-5, I was able to get a wide variety of books, a wide variety of genres, and fictions, non-fictions, at different DRA 2 levels. And I level my classroom based on DRA 2, just because that is the big reading assessment we use district-wide, and my tests are leveled, 14, 18, 24, 30, 34. I level my classroom books the exact same way, because if I know that they're just tested at a DRA 34, then they can definitely read this Skippy John Jones books with success. So that's the reason I label my books using the DRA 2 numbers. You might want to label your books using, the A, B, C, I know it goes like A through J, whatever your district uses, whatever testing system your district uses. That's the system you're going to want to use to level your books, and the easiest way to level your books is to go to scholastic.com. It's all right there. Or I will just talk to my phone. I'll go to the Google app and I'll tell Google, if you give a mouse a cookie, DRA 2 level. And then Google will pull it right up for me, and half the time it'll show right there on the front of the screen that if you give a mouse a cookie is a DRA, I think it's a 12. I could be wrong on that one. I haven't done if you give a mouse a cookie in quite some time. But so yeah, you can use your Google app to level your books, or you just go to scholastic.com and type the titles in. Also, if in like September and October, let's say you spend $100 buying those 4 libraries for 25, that's $100 spent. Then let's say it's September, your kids spend $75 buying books for themselves in your classroom. Well, that just gave you 175 bonus points on top of, if you spend, $125, we'll give you 1,000 bonus points. And so then you can start using those 1,000 bonus points to buy more book libraries. Don't buy single titles from the student catalog. Purchase the one where it's 5 books for $10, 6 National Geographic books for $12. Try to find the bulk books where, it may cost $15, but you're going to get 10 titles. Try to get the biggest bang for your money. Also, make sure that you get a lot of nonfiction. it has been my experience that while the girls want to read a novel, the boys want to read nonfiction. That's not always the case, but oh, birdie. A bird just flew to my patio window and just like hovered there. Sorry about that. It was just amazing. Okay, random. So yes, you're going to want to buy tons of books. Garage sales, you can usually get a lot of books. If you have nieces and nephews who are now like becoming teenagers, but all of their reading books are still in their bedrooms or in their closet, now's the time to say, hey, are you done with those? Because I need them. So hit up your nieces and nephews and your cousins, garage sales, library sales. A lot of times, your public library will decide that, oh, they're getting in 1,000 new books, so they need to decrease their library supply by 1,000 books. So they're selling them for a quarter or 50 cents a piece. Perfect time to go get books for the classroom. My third recommendation for a new teacher shopping list is baskets and tubs. When you buy these books, you want to level them, you need something to put them in. So you're going to need a variety of sizes of baskets and different tubs to hold the books. And while the items at reallygoodstuff.com is beautiful and color coordinated and super durable, let's be real, you're a new teacher, you're broke. Probably, unless you've married a really wealthy spouse. So the dollar store is going to be your best friend. They sell all kinds of baskets in the dollar store. They may not be as durable or as sturdy, but they'll at least last a year or two and until you save up money to buy the kind of baskets you really want. The $1 and $3 bins at Targets, they have really good supplies there, especially right now. All summer long, I find that the dollar bins at Targets, it's nothing but teacher supplies. Teacher supplies and barbecue and picnic stuff. So yeah, go hit up Target right now. In fact, I just purchased for myself from Target 8 new dry erase boards with an erasable marker for $1 a piece, because my whiteboards, my personal whiteboards, are looking really crappy. So I got 8 new ones the other day. Also, the Sterilite containers, the ones that like clear with a lid, those are also really good because if you have really big heavy duty books, sometimes those are hard to stand up in like your little flimsy dollar store plastic containers. So those will stand up very nicely in a Sterilite container that you get from Target or Walmart, wherever. Okay, so baskets and tubs. Number 4, I'm going to recommend for a new teacher something called Raz Kids. I've always had a subscription to Raz Kids, and Raz Kids is an online resource that you get at learningatozee.com. And my district a couple of years ago actually started supplying Raz Kids to all the teachers, so I was actually able to save money for once. But last time I purchased it, it was only like $99 for a year. And Raz Kids will basically allow you to create your entire classroom online and then assign each student in your class to a reading level. And the reading levels in Raz Kids are leveled a variety of ways. There is the A through Z leveling. They are DRE 2 sorted. And so with Raz Kids, each kid has an account. You give them their username and their password, and then they can start reading. They can read hundreds of titles online. They can listen to hundreds of titles online. So not only can they meet their silent reading quota, but they can also get their listening to reading. There are quizzes and activities for every book in the series, and then there's also built-in rewards. They get stars, and then they can spend their stars in a robot room or this little space room, and they can create things and play around. So, but to get the stars, you have to read the books, you have to take the quizzes, and you can't progress from one level to the next until you've completed everything there. So if a child wants to move from an H to an I, they have to read every book on the level H, do every quiz for level H. Then the computer system will automatically bump them up to an I. So it's a really good program. And again, if you're someone who's new and you do not have a lot of reading resources in your classroom because you don't have a very large classroom library. Well, for $99, Raz Kids is an entire classroom library online. So it's a really great program, and it can work on iPads, it can work on, I believe, on Kindles, and it can also work on laptops. So depending on what the media your school system has, it'll work for you. Okay. Number 5, you're going to want to get a subscription to Scholastic Printables. I've had a subscription to the Printables for, I think ever since it came out, which would have been like 9-10 years ago. And back in the day, you had to go to a teacher store and look at all the resource books, and the books would cost like $20. And let's be honest, in that whole book for $20 or $19.95, there was usually only about 7 or 8 pages in the entire book that you really, really wanted. And you thought, well, I can find a way to use some of the other pages too. And the reality is you used the 8 pages you wanted, and the rest of the book you never looked at it again. Well, Scholastic Printables has taken all of the older Scholastic teacher resource books and digitized them. They're all available, and it's amazing. So like, let's say it's back to school time. So you go to log into Scholastic Printables and you type in the search back to school, pick your grade level, and up will pop, 30, 40 different activities that were found in 15 different activity books that Scholastic used to print or even still prints. And then you can just pick and choose the ones you need. Everything's there for holidays. It's broken down by subject matter. It's a really great variety of work to meet your needs real quick on something. So I think the subscription used to be like $39. I don't think it costs that much anymore. And I think if you spend a certain amount of money through your Scholastic book, your Scholastic book folders or catalogs, I don't even think they charge you for a membership anymore. Because I don't think I've been charged for my membership for like the last 3 years to Scholastic Printables, because I spend so much money on their book catalogs. So the next thing I'm going to recommend would be binders and tabbed dividers. You're going to find very quickly in your classroom that your book series, because every school's got a book series for social studies, a book series for science, you have a reading series, you have a math series, and these are the ones that the district have bought into, and this is all you have. Well, you're going to find that there's no such thing as a book series that does it all. It just doesn't. None of them do. And it's not that one series is better than another, it's just that, they can only put so much information in a book. And, schools don't buy new book series every 2 to 3 years. Our social studies series is at least 10 years old. Well, I know for a fact the state of Michigan has actually changed the standards for what gets taught in what grade level for social studies. The same thing has happened for science. That's why we just abandoned our fall science kits, and I don't even know what's coming. The district's about to invest money in a new science program because the state changed the requirements. So binders and tabs will be needed, because what's going to end up happening once you become a teacher, slowly but surely, you're going to be building your own teacher's manuals. You'll still use the one the school gave you, of course, but these will become your secondary manuals. This is just one that I've made. This is my interactive reading notebook 4th grade toolkit. Addresses 100% of the Common Core in literature, informational text, and foundational skills. Now, do I teach everything in this? No, because it's very encompassing, and not every skill has to have a 2-page spread and a notebook made for it. But I have it broken down by tabs. So here are the literature-based ones. And this is from a Teachers Pay Teachers. Then this tab is, I broke that chapter in half. informational text skills, foundational skills, and this is all right out of the Common Core. So this was something I purchased for myself to be a reading supplement. I've created binders for holidays. In fact, I even did a video on one of them. It's one of my teaching vlogs where you saw I took every holiday and put it in its own spot in a tab in one big giant binder, and that one binder is called Holidays. So every holiday of the year, the activities I love to use are right there at my fingertips. So these will take the place of filing cabinets full of files, because I used to do that. I used to have all of my things in filing folders, and you know what? The thing with the filing cabinet is you can't really see it. It's not easily accessible. Whereas when you pull out the binder and you start flipping through it, you're like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do this one too. So you're going to, I probably have in my classroom, a dozen binders. Some are small, some are 3 inches, with tabs in all of them separating the materials. But yeah, I refer to them, and I refer to them often. And then if a standard changes and suddenly I have this much information on a subject that's no longer taught in my grade level, I open the binder up, I take that subject matter out, and I make room for the new subject stuff that's going to come in and fill its place. So binders are really, really useful. And I even know a few teachers who have actually taken their teacher manuals and like cut the spirals off of them and 3-hole punch them and still put them into binders because they find that to be easier. I don't do that. I keep my teacher manuals intact. But yeah, I have lots of binders that I use. Number 7, my advice to new teachers: take it easy on new decor. You guys know I am a decor junkie. If I could actually get a job where my job was going from classroom to classroom, decorating the rooms, designing a theme, and color coordinating, I might actually take that job. But as of yet, that job does not exist. But I do love to decorate my room and make it cute and adorable. But again, as a first-year teacher, if you only have $500 to spend, I would rather you spend that $500 on resources to improve yourself and on books. Seriously, books. If that's all you got, spend it on books and baskets, honestly. If you have a little money left over for decorating, my advice to you would be to keep it simple your first couple of years. Do not buy the pre-made bulletin boards. Sure, the teddy bears are cute, and oh, look at those. It's made to look like a window or a door in the classroom, and it's all pretty, it's all cute. But it costs a lot of money, and odds are you don't need it anyway. Trust me, I have spent hundreds of dollars on assorted bulletin board materials. And you know what? Right now, I don't use any of them. I put butcher paper up on my walls. And now I purchased the fadeless butcher paper. But if you're for most of my career, I was using the butcher paper that the district provided for me because I didn't have that kind of money to spend. So my advice to you would be to pick one color butcher paper and do the whole room in that. 2 colors at the most. You really don't want to have, an orange bulletin board and a red bulletin board and a green. It just all begins to clash. Stick with 1 or 2 colors, and honestly, if I was brand new to this job, I would probably say black butcher paper and white butcher paper. This way, no matter what you put up on the walls, it'll stand out and it'll be easy to see. So 2 colors of butcher paper for the whole walls around your room, and then trim. Get some cute trim, and if you want to get the most trim for your money, you're going to want to get the old-fashioned rolls of trim from Bordette or Paken. That's the 2 name brands, and it's the kind where you still have to pull them in half. Those things are really cheap, and it is a ton of trim, and the colors, there's a wide variety of colors, and they're very bold and bright. So maybe you want to do black butcher paper, white butcher paper, and then like a royal blue Bordette for all your trim. That's all the color you need. It really, really is. I don't recommend doing a room that's more than 3 colors unless you're doing like a pastel theme or a rainbow theme. Otherwise though, honestly, keep it simple. You know, hot pink border, black bulletin paper, and maybe pale pink bulletin paper. Just keep it simple. And now you're saying, well, if I don't buy the pre-made bulletin board sets, what's going to go on the walls? Anchor charts. Anchor charts, anchor charts, anchor charts. You are going to be making anchor charts for classroom expectations and behavior. If you're doing the Daily 5, you're going to be creating your Daily 5 eye charts. If you're teaching a grammar practice or a language arts skill, you're going to be making an anchor chart for that. When you move into regions for social studies, you're going to be making an anchor chart for that. When you teach a writing skill, you're going to be making anchor charts for the various writing topics you're presenting. And now you're wondering, where do you get the anchor charts? Anchor charts, I love Pinterest. Pinterest, they have some of the cutest, most adorable anchor charts already made on Pinterest. Just Google or just search it, anchor charts, and literally hundreds and hundreds of anchor charts will come up on every topic, every Common Core thing that you can think of. And all you gotta do is, take a screenshot of it, email it to yourself, the next day at work, print your email, and then copy the anchor chart onto your own piece of paper. Don't make teaching harder than it has to be. If someone else has already taken the time to create hundreds, possibly thousands of anchor charts on every topic you need to teach, use them. Use them and just draw it the way they did. Honestly, I do it all the time. I really do. So anchor charts are going to cover your walls, and student artifacts. Parents want to come into a classroom and they want to see Johnny and Susie and Ricky's papers hanging up on the wall. So yeah, you really don't need all of those pre-cut bulletin board pieces. The only one that you really need is your calendar set, because you will need, especially whether it's everyday math or not, most math programs have morning calendar, the time of the day, your Roman numerals, your daily counts. So you will need a calendar bulletin board. But other than that, everything else is going to be anchor charts and student artifacts. Okay. Finally, my last advice for new teachers, something you need, is to use your media resources. And this kind of goes back to the whole Pinterest thing. Not only can you find a wide variety of anchor charts on Pinterest, but there's a wide variety of lessons available on Pinterest, and lessons connected to certain books you might want to cover on Pinterest. You need something on Martin Luther King, you need something on Abraham Lincoln. Trust me, there's a lesson for it on Pinterest just waiting for you. Can you create your own lessons? Absolutely. I do it all the time. But sometimes life is busy and we don't have that much time on our hands. So that's when you can tap into the work that somebody else has done that you really like and admire. Also, Netflix. Most of you probably already have Netflix because you use it at your house. But did you know that almost every National Geographic, every program the History Channel, the Learning Channel, the Discovery Channel has ever made, they're all on Netflix. So let's say you are teaching about stars and constellations. Great. Now, once you've presented the lesson to them, go to Netflix. You don't want to show the entire hour-long show in your whole program on Netflix, might be over their head. But the night before, you watch it and then find just the 5 minutes that you need to really hit home the concepts to your students. It's one thing to look at a picture of a blue star or a red giant in a picture this big in a science book. But when you show a video clip or project an image that's, 5 feet by 3 feet big onto a classroom wall, it's just much more impressive and more powerful of an image, and the students are so going to understand it better. On top of Netflix, there is also Discovery Education, which has photos that you can project, more video clips that you can use in the room. Amazon Prime has some documentaries that you can use for science and social studies. I know there's other ones right now, and I'm having a mental breakdown. I apologize, but there there are a wide variety of sites where you can get access to video clips that you need, or photography. NASA.com has some amazing photography. There's a wide variety of math websites where the children can play online math games. So those are all resources that you can use for yourself. And then another resource that you can use that I highly recommend is having a smartphone that records video. And what am I talking about? I like to have proof of certain behaviors happening in my classroom. Especially when you have a parent that says, "Oh no, my child would never act that way." Well, if your student is suddenly having a major meltdown in the classroom, is screaming or yelling or cursing at someone, standing up, throwing things, I like to pull out my phone and start recording a video. And I've even had times where I've had a student hold the camera and record it because I have to go intervene and try to get this child to calm down. But this way, when it becomes a he said, she said, or the student said and the teacher said, and the parent is automatically siding with their child, you can say, "I have it on film. This is what happened." Your camera on your phone can be one of your best resources for a new teacher or any teacher to record an incident going on in class. Just make sure that that video is shown to you, your administrator, and the parent. Maybe the school social worker if you think they need to see it. You cannot show a video you record of a student having a temper tantrum to other coworkers, or God forbid, do something stupid like post it online. You can never do that. You'll be fired instantly for violating student privacy. But yeah, so if something's going on, something really explosive is happening in the classroom, and you want to cover your own butt, give your camera to another student, say, "Record this," and then do what you have to do to get the situation under control. But this way you have video evidence to show what happened in the room, what was your part in the situation, and more importantly, what did the student do? So yeah, lots of digital resources, online resources at your disposal. And with that, I am going to stop right there because I think this video has gotten insanely long, even by my standards. I hope this was helpful in giving you ideas of what to buy, what to look for online, different subscriptions to join to help make your first year as a new teacher easier. And again though, I stick by what I say. If you have limited funds, books and baskets. Dollar store baskets and as many books as you can. The other stuff will come in time. Books and baskets though are essential. And with that, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me in the future, click the subscribe button. I'll talk to you later.